know, God is not going to let you, if you're saved, God is not going to let you worship a person, place, or thing, job, career, anything but Him, yourself, a political party, an ideology, unless it's straight up Bible. He's not going to let you do it. I'm going to look at, as I'm driving, I'm going to check out the holographic viewing. Whiskey Myers. Stifle. How many times those basketball games come through here? All these events. Brandon Lake, King of Hearts tour. I'm looking at some trains right in front of me. Slow train moving. Black mass. The Boy Is Mine tour. Sacred. Something defend the sacred on that train. The Return of Gore tour. On the train, Ace. Spirit Box. You cannot worship anything, a house, a car, a job, a career, or anything, really. You can actually see what people worship by how much time they spend on something, right? You can actually see what people worship by how much time they spend on something. Some people worship food, they eat all the time. Yeah, you should have a balanced life, don't get me wrong, but some people go to the extreme. You go around the cycles every day. We go around the cycles every day, and what should we learn? from the cycles. That everything is an object lesson. So those tires, the tire is going around the cycle. Where the rubber meets the road. And as that tire cycles, what does it do? It burns off or rubs off the rubber. That's why it's called rubber. It's rubbing off the rubber. The word traffic, back and forth traffic, goes back to rub. It's rubbing off the rubber. There's a reason it's called rubber. It's rubbing. So the tire is rubbing against the street. I've never thought about this before, but so we got a tire rubbing against the street. What is the street? The road. RO goes back to water in symbology. AD is Tor. Street, ST. Re-E-T. S-T-R-E, which is again E-T, extraterrestrial. So what's the, okay, so I just decoded it. So the rubber meets the road. What did Bruce Lee say? He said, be like water. Go with the flow. So the tire's letting you flow, but it's also rubbing against the street. What is the street? It's burning off the rubber. ST is the snake on the cross. Re is again. ET is extraterrestrial. So that's spiritual, right? The only ETs are spiritual. So the cycles of time is to get you to run to the cross again and again and again until you finally step into your identity, which is seated in the heavenlies, which is outside of terrestrial, where the rubber meets the road. So the code is always the same, to be honest. The cycles of time are to burn off the flesh to get you to become spiritual, which is ET, extraterrestrial, above the terrestrial, which is spiritual. And so this object lesson of the tire hitting the road, the pavement, pavement, mint is mental, pavers is walk the way, right? So you're learning to walk the way. You're learning to walk in the Spirit is what this whole thing is about. And the object lessons never change. Like Syngenta on that business name. SYN is sin on the left. G is finished. NT. NTA. TA is the blood of his cross. Engine. Sent. So it doesn't matter if I'm looking at the tires hitting the road, doesn't matter if I'm looking at an engine, it doesn't matter if I'm looking at a word or a sentence or the sky or the grass. It's the same object lesson. God is cutting out the flesh mind to move you to the spirit mind, that your affections are above, not below. Your affections are above and not below. The sad part is I can talk to 1,000 people in the real world, and they can't hear me. And when I was doing rideshare, 1 out of 20 could hear you, 1 out of 10 maybe. But they didn't really hear the depth of it when it goes back to scripture, They might see some object lessons and be amazed and say, "Who are you?" I've had people say that. "Who are you? How did you see that? Where did you learn that? What book did you read?" "What are you talking about?" "I just got the download and I started decoding this place." By the grace of God. Who are you? What you have a book? Have you written a book? I need to actually do a book on the introduction to creation code, the alphabet. I started talking about all the way to the letter N. N is the snake and the fish. O is the womb. P is the seed. So there's the prophecy in Genesis 3. O-P. Q is the birthing. R is royalty. S is integrating, summation. T is the cross. U is the E-W-E. V is a cut, a knife, a cut shaped like a knife to cut you. You must be cut down here. The flesh cuts the flesh. The spirit sharpens the spirit. W is double you, the double of you, the body double. So you're seated in the heavenlies, but you're walking it down here in the flesh. X is take up your cross. Y is the letter U up on a post to be upright, teaching you to be upright. Z is the boomerang, Alpha and Omega, A to Z. Z is a weapon, the boomerang, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega. If Jesus says, "I'm the Alpha and the Omega," then all the alphabets of the world point to Jesus and the truth. Actually, all creation is inside the alphabet. UVW is 666. From a different perspective, if they're individually, they have a meaning. If it's 2 letters, they have a meaning. If it's 3, they have a meaning. So everything has a different, depending on how you add the letters and the way you look at it and so forth. The context. Everything's context. And so the context is key. And if everything's in context, like if somebody says they love you, you know if they love you or don't, because you put it in context. They just love themselves. They just say what you want to hear. So everything's in context. You know this is a radio because right here's a button to turn the radio on. If you've never seen a car before, you wouldn't know that was a radio, but you'd look at this and say, "Oh, there's a house, there's a phone, there's a dial." You could probably figure out that's a radio based on context. And if everything's in context, that means you're in a book. You're in a 3D version of a book. You're just a walking character in a script.